So now moving on to question number 4. Let me first read the question. It is by no means blank to recognize the influence of Dutch painter Hieronymus Bosch on Ali Banisadr's paintings. Indeed, Banisadr himself cites Bosch as an inspiration. However, some scholars have suggested that the ancient Mesopotamian poem Epic of Gilgamesh may have had a far greater impact on Banisadr's work. So, which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? Is it A, substantial, B, satisfying, C, unimportant, or D, appropriate? So, which do you think? Yeah, so if you said C, unimportant, that is correct over here. So, why is that? It's this particular text is discussing the influence of Banisadr's paintings, what has inspired him. And if we say it is not important, here there is a no, and again unimportant. So these two no's actually will make it positive. It is important to recognize, basically. It is important to recognize the influence of Dutch painter Hieronymus Bosch on Ali Banisadr's paintings, because indeed Banisadr himself cites Bosch as an inspiration. So definitely Banisadr himself has said that Bosch was an inspiration, so it is important for us to recognize it. But why we are using unimportant is because we have used no also here. So these two negatives make it positive, which actually means that it is important to recognize the influence. Okay, so the material that follows indeed. So after indeed, what do we have? Indeed, later in the sentence provides the contradicting information, namely that Banisadr himself cites Bosch as an inspiration. So in other words, what we are saying, the sentence indicates that Bosch's influence on Banisadr is significant. He has been influenced by Bosch, okay, and thus recognizing that influence is by no means unimportant. So it's very important. Then why are the others wrong then? Okay, why we cannot choose the others? Substantial. If I choose substantial, it would mean that it isn't substantial or meaningful. It is by no means substantial. Here, because there is no unsubstantial here, it's a positive word. It would mean that, we are saying it is not important. Okay, the text says that Banisadr himself cites Bosch as an influence. So we cannot use a positive word. We have to use negative, but this is positive, so we cannot use. And satisfying. Satisfying means pleasing, as you know. So it wouldn't make sense to say that it isn't satisfying or pleasing to recognize Bosch's influence, because Banisadr himself cites that Bosch is an influence. So that again doesn't make sense. And what about D? D is also incorrect, because it wouldn't make sense to say that recognizing Bosch's influence isn't appropriate. So again, it's a positive word. No means appropriate. Appropriate, as you know, is suitable. So the text indicates that Banisadr himself notes that Bosch's work has an effect on him. So we cannot say that no means appropriate. Okay, it is important to recognize. So by no means unimportant. The negative word is what we need, because it has, again, it is by no means, because of the two negatives, we will take it actually would mean that it is important to recognize that, okay, the influence. Alright, so I hope you understood that. We can move on to the next question now.